Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
💂💊🂄💄💄.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
What is up, everybody? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. This is my show, and I'm the American Anchor Baby. What is up? Hey, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you being with me. We have a show to get into today. But before that, if you want to call in, 888-775-3773. I see you guys calling in. I'll get to your calls here momentarily. We got a couple things to get into. I do appreciate you all being with me on Friday. We took a nice flight to Chicago, and we landed the plane. Everything went well. No problems at all. Souls on board, alive. This shirt is the new blouse. Am I about to get destroyed by this because I wore this? Oh no. It's Adidas. All day I dream about salvation. Exactly. That's what that stands for. Anyways, let's see what else. Yeah, follow, subscribe here on YouTube, Rumble as well. But we're going to get into a couple things. I have some stuff about Father's Day. We'll get into some stuff today. But yeah, Father's Day, Juneteenth. Father's Day v. Juneteenth. Who wins? I was talking to someone about Father's Day and how they were saying it's the least celebrated holiday after Flag Day or something like that. I don't know if they meant Flag Day was more popular or less popular than Father's Day, but that it's pretty low on the list. And I can believe that. That's kind of been always said over the years, right? Oh, Father's Day. Oh, if Mother's Day is so celebrated, then Father's Day, nobody cares. Oh, buy Dad a tie, whatever. So I've heard that. The bottom holiday. Does our society, are we seeing those effects in our society? Is our society expressing that, emblematic of having no fathers? You might see it that way. But is it the bottom? I think people celebrate Father's Day more than Juneteenth. Come on. Like even black people. Maybe. That 70% single, out of wedlock rate is kind of an, even how, I don't know how true that statistic is. Single, out of wedlock birth rate in the black community in America. But even if that was halfway true, it would still be pretty bad. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at chat. Nick, get some trap muscles. They don't care. They won't care what you wear. You got some advice here from the chat. You heard it here first, folks. Work out your trapezius muscles and it won't matter what you wear. But yeah, people will celebrate Father's Day more than Juneteenth. Come on. Even if it's bad or even if it's barely celebrated. Right? Question mark? Right? Question mark? Elon Musk tweeted, oh, dang, I got fooled by Twitter. Oh, here I was about to report on an Elon Musk tweet. And I pull it up, and it says Elon Musk parody, and here I was Elon Musk parody account on Twitter. Oh, wow. Here I was fooled. I was about to report out Elon Musk saying, Happy Father's Day. Underpopulation is a serious problem. So go sleep with your significant other. Must be the opposite gender to help solve the problem. I was about to go off on Elon. Like, what do you mean? Isn't that kind of the problem we're having? It's not just have babies, but this is a parody account. So my apologies there. But that's still true, though. You can't just go have babies. We're kind of having a crisis, a little bit of a crisis, okay? No fathers. You know what I'm saying? But can we show a little father's support to Hunter Biden? All right, y'all, let's come together, circle the wagons. I know he's the son of a Democrat. I know he's a Biden. But can we circle the wagons, corral behind this father, Hunter Biden? rock star Hunter Biden, who many Republicans are railing against him for his wildlife. What? You can't just be a rock star. But you maybe know a little bit about this, Hunter Biden and that baby mama, London Roberts. She wants child support. And so he's dealing with a child support issue here. He had a child with this woman, London Roberts, whom he says he met she was like a stripper or whatever. And there's a whole fight here. This woman wants, from what I'm reading here, $20,000? What, a month? $20,000 a month. This is an expensive baby. This baby's made out of gold. Aren't babies that expensive? I know things have gotten more expensive. I know having a family and raising a child has gotten more expensive, but is it $20,000 a month expensive? I don't know. Well, she's saying she wants her daughter, who's now 4. She's trying to change, $20,000 per month. OK Magazine. She wants to also change the name of her daughter's last name to Biden. She wants this illegitimate child? Well, a paternity test proved that it is Hunter Biden's daughter, and this woman wants the last name changed to Biden so that the youngin could enjoy. Well, she's saying she wants the surname to be synonymous with being well-educated, successful, financially acute, and politically powerful. I mean, the child's name should be Biden, no? Should be the father's name, even if it was illegitimate. But it's tongue-in-cheek, I'm playing around. But child support, we already kind of know how evil it is. It's a way of pitting the parents against each other, and the state gets a little bit of a payoff. There was a great Fallen State guest who revealed the truth behind child support and how the government benefits financially from it. So I don't know. I'm playing around here. Maybe the kid should get some child support. I don't know. But $20,000. So happy Father's Day. But the GOP, the Republicans, they're loving this Juneteenth stuff. Juneteenth Freedom Day, they posted. Let me see if I can even pull it up. Juneteenth Freedom Day, they posted about sounding a lot like, hold on here. Let me see if I can show you. Here it is. Juneteenth. Oh. I'm messing it up. Here it is. You see this? From their account, from the horse's mouth. Juneteenth Freedom Day, they say. And I'm about to get to calls here. I do appreciate the patience, guys. I will get to you. But they write here, Juneteenth reminds us all how valuable freedom is and what we can achieve when we appeal to our nation's highest ideals and come together as Americans. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? But it's not so sweet. It's not so sweet, not so nice. Because, I don't know, it's like, didn't we learn from Black Lives Matter, y'all? Didn't we already learn this lesson? Mainstream conservatives? Just because they say, well, Juneteenth is about freedom, or Black Lives Matter is about black lives. You still falling for that? It's about equality. Love is love. And just like that, you get a Republican or Christian or conservative to go along with the Democrats and go along with evil. You just use these things like freedom. Juneteenth is about, oh, wait a second. Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, I am about freedom. That's right. Very shallow because you're ignoring that Juneteenth means anti-white, means like it's not just about, okay, it's about how these slaves got free and freedom and slavery's bad. We already learned this lesson, okay, from names of these organizations or movements or holidays. Black Lives Matter is about black lives. We already learned this one. This halfway is what the Republicans do, though. That's what they do. How long have they been protesting the school stuff and then putting these books in the libraries about teaching about LGBT sex and stuff like that, and pretty crazy, shocking stuff, right? 12 years. Here's one Daily Mail. A day ago, 12-year-olds are being taught about gross sex in school, while 9-year-olds are taught other stuff. I won't even say. It's 12 o'clock. Come on, it's lunchtime for some people. But how long have conservatives been protesting this? And they say, oh, we just don't want the kids. We just don't want sex stuff around children. But that's not true. We know that it's not true. We've had sex ed. Who grew up with that? I had that growing up. I was in I must have been in the 3rd or 4th grade when we did Fully Alive. Fully Alive. That was our sex ed curriculum in Canada. And they were teaching us sex stuff. It made babies in this case. So it was functional, but it was in the curriculum. If you just don't want, if your position against it is just, oh, well, you just can't teach it to the kids. Well, this is what you get. We need a full rejection of it, right? Well, so you've been allowing teaching sex in schools for all this time, but these people want the same, but, they're doing it because they're LGBT. Well, if your only issue with it is teaching sex to children, well, now you're suddenly a bigot, because now the only reason you don't want it is because you don't like gay people. When you should have just rejected it from the beginning. Right? And what's these protests going to do anyways? It's the parents sending the kids there in the first place. They're all cool with it. They all seem fine. So yeah, happy Juneteenth, Father's Day. Anyways, I got Kamran. Kamran, what's up, man? You're out of California on the air. Thank you.
What's up, Nick? How are you?
Hey, just fine, man. Appreciate your call.
Yeah, of course. Actually, yesterday in the bond program, I was mentioning how isn't Father's Day just the best day of the year?
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and my point was that, when you honor your father, you honor your parents, you're honoring God. And so it's technically God's day because God is the Father.
Dang.
And check it out. What is all this mess about? What is it? Juneteenth?
Yes, Juneteenth.
So I'm understanding from you that it's crossing with Father's Day the same day, right?
Or maybe just the day after. Wasn't Father's Day yesterday? Today is Juneteenth.
Juneteenth is today. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Understood. So, it just looked like a big old mess to me of, like, why are you doing a false victimhood holiday type of thing?
Yep.
Like, you have freedom. It's already good. There's nothing to worry about anymore. You're all good,
Yeah, it's interesting that you even bring it up because when you say that, I realize Juneteenth is like the opposite, is the actual complete opposite of Father's Day.
Right.
And it's like they need Father's Day. They don't need Juneteenth.
Right. Right.
Yeah, promoting anger because I don't know a single person, I don't know anyone who honors their parents and isn't doing well. They have an okay life or a pretty good life.
Right. I find the same thing, actually.
They may have
And
their
I
own
had
issues, but ultimately, I don't know anyone who's honoring their parents and is not living well.
Right. I'd actually called in to Hake's show to talk about that mess, and it was like I wanted to kind of chat with him. I haven't chatted with him yet, so if he's around and he's in that chat room, shout out Hake. But I was like trying to get to know you a little bit better and also make you laugh. So before we talk about anything, I had a thing that I was going to say. And, it's like you're out there protesting or what, I don't know, whatever you're doing on Juneteenth, whatever, if you're mad about
Yeah.
Juneteenth, or I don't understand yet. But
Yeah, how do you celebrate?
but yeah, even just celebrating it, it's like a ridiculous holiday. So why don't you take the effort, and look at an issue that's actually like plaguing the world, or, like a real issue, and actually use some effort. For instance, we must get the...
Hey, Kamran, come back to your phone. I lost you there.
We must get Hassan and his harem to the compound to see the genie.
Hey,
This will
Kamran,
be the best thing for all people. I promise you this, my friend. It will save the world.
who am I speaking with now?
That was me.
Oh, you just put on an
I just wanted
accent?
to shout out to hey, Super Chat.
Oh.
He had to go Super Chat about, like, a compound, Hassan's dad's compound. And
Yeah.
It was so good.
That was funny.
I was dying laughing. I was in the chat, like, harems for Hassan.
Big time.
I don't know if you know what a harem is.
I'm Googling it right now. What's a harem?
It's a group of women who cater to you hand and foot.
Oh.
You don't necessarily
Is that where the word
sleep with them.
Is that where the word harem
they-
comes from?
Yeah, exactly. And they give you
How do you?
that's how you pronounce harem in the Middle Eastern language. So
I think
they
that's
give you grace and they
that
stand
sounds
you and
that sounds like it might be haram.
haram.
Harems sound like
that?
they might be haram.
What is that?
Haram means forbidden by Islamic law. Meaning,
No, not back when the Shah was in order.
oh really? So harems.
Yeah, and that's when Iran was great again.
That's funny, man.
But thank you for letting me do that. I just wanted to shout out to Hassan because I'm always making these funny comments.
Yeah, he's your half bro.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah,
Kamran's Kamran's a half chat. If you didn't realize.
What's that?
I'm telling the chat that you're a halfa. If they haven't realized.
I'm a halfa. I'm a total halfa. And what do you call it? Yeah, I wanted to make Hake disavow, or not make him, but I wanted to see him disavow. I know he would have disavowed.
You wanted to see him. That's like saying, I want to see you squirm. I wanted to see Hake disavow. What the heck?
He disavows everything, though. So it's
For the sake of his channel. Come on.
well, it would have been funny. But actually, when I called into his show, somebody had mentioned another super chat. Thank you for letting me do that and being cool about it. There was a mention of like a Jewish mafia.
I remember that.
Like,
that was on the Hake Report, yeah?
On the show before. But there's like this theory, and there's a documentary. I'm going to send it to you. I'm not going to name it because I already talked to, I think it was Sean I talked to, and he said that it wouldn't be a good idea. Like,
Thanks,
I'm not
man.
trying to promote
Yeah, send it over.
But it was like a really interesting watch. And the whole thing in the second half of the documentary, because there's two parts to it, but there's like 10 episodes, 14 episodes on each part. The second half is all about the history of what is now modern-day Ukraine, and it was once called Khazar or Khazaria or something.
Oh.
But the Khazarian Mafia came out of what people call the Khazarian Mafia came out of this area. I don't know if you've ever heard this theory.
I've heard a little bit about this, to be honest. The Khazars? Khazar. I think I heard it pronounced different.
Okay.
But yeah, I gotcha.
Oh,
I still got you there, Kamran. I hear you. You hear me?
oh, darn. Are you there?
Kamran, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you hear any of what I just said?
I did. The Khazar,
Okay.
you said Khazars?
Yeah, the Khazars. So there's like an idea of the Khazarian Mafia, and I wondered if this person is saying the Jewish Mafia is kind of connecting to that idea, that whole theory about the Khazars and what's going on in
I think
modern
the
day
super chatter
Ukraine.
might have meant it generally on the Hake Report, but I can't. You guys are gonna have to watch the Hake Report if you guys want the full. You guys are gonna have to podcast that episode. It was a good one.
Right. Have you heard that theory?
I haven't heard the theory, but I've heard of the. Is it Khazars or Khazars? I've heard of those.
I don't know how to pronounce it either, but as far as I've heard it through the documentary, it was Khazarian.
Okay.
And what they are is they were a group that lived in what is modern-day Ukraine prior to it becoming Ukraine, and they were like satanic, and they would sacrifice people and children and worship, balls. I didn't want to say that, but
Ball worship.
Yeah,
I've heard a little bit of Baal, who's like a demonic spirit or something like that, right?
Right. And they would sacrifice people, but they also would do this thing where they go into Russia and Russian territory, and they would kill people, assume their identity, take over their home and all that stuff, and pretend that they were that people. And so it got so bad that apparently the Russian Tsar declared war on them and said, "We will slaughter each and every one of you in that country if you don't adopt a religion." And so they chose to adopt
very mafiosi,
Khazarian Jew, huh?
Very mafiosi, mafiosi activities. I mean,
right.
I don't know much about all that.
It
Definitely send it to me. Radio at @JesseLeePeterson.com if you guys want to send me stuff. I mean, it sounds like you're trying to make. Okay. It feels like you're trying to make me disavow.
No, I'm not.
I'm messing with you.
I like when hate disavows. I really do.
You're trying to make me squirm here because I've heard of these. Child sacrifice conspiracy, and you guys are pretty nasty with those child sacrifice conspiracies. I'm playing. I'm messing with you.
A few things in the documentary. They have like pictures and depictions of how people used to believe in that and like what they would do in their. I don't know. It's really interesting. I wanted to bring it up to Hake, and I actually wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, definitely give him a call. Come run and call me again sometime.
For sure, dude. Hey, thank you.
No problem, man. Anything else? I'm going to move the wheels.
Did Hassan like that one?
Oh, he's not here, man. Yeah.
I can't wait for him to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys got to show it to him. Thank you.
All right, come on. Take care, man. Moving the wheels. Okay. Great stuff. Great stuff. Appreciate your calls. I will get to more calls here in a moment here. But yeah, Father's Day, Juneteenth, families. How am I going to segue this one? Here it is. Black polygamy. It's kind of related. You seen some of this polygamy stuff? There's been whispers with different news stories, and there's this channel, I forget. I think the channel is something on YouTube, like something like Love is Love. And they'll do these, they went super viral with these, what is it, like I guess mini documentaries on polyamorous or non-conventional couples. And we did one on the JLP show, and it was this, I believe it was like group of 5 guys married to one woman, asterisk married, so-called married. And I believe she has a child with one of them, and they all have a big old happy family together. And then months later, there was like some horrible story where I believe one of them killed the child or something horrible happened. Anyways, so those were viral moments. So polygamy as it's being called now. Many wives, many loves, many wives. It's been, it's been whispered about. It's been a bit of a thing. And so this clip is kind of going viral. Shared by a Twitter account called Black Polygamy. Okay? And let me try and pull it up here. Let me see if I can pull it up in that. We'll see if you guys can hear this. Let's see here. And so, yeah, this clip here went sort of viral. Shared by Black Polygamy. And if you didn't know, and I'll show you, polygamy is is still pretty rare. But in Black internet, Black Twitter, and Black culture, it has a bit of a edge, from what I could tell. I can't be entirely sure, but this video went viral, sort of. Oh, no. I was hoping you'd be able to hear it. I thought our engineer had it so that you guys could hear it, and I won't still be able to hear it, but you guys could at least hear it. But in this video, you see this man here, and this woman is saying she's been together 6 years with this guy. Oh, well, it doesn't matter the audio, but this guy here, you see this is the Chad. This is the Chad with the 4 wives. Okay? And there's some interesting moments in this clip. But here they are, as you can see. Big happy family. That's the one he's been with the most. And as the years have gone by, he's added 3 more women to the polycule, as it's called. Some people call it that, a polycule. Kind of like a molecule, but it's people, and they're polyamorous. Okay? And like I was saying, polygamy, black polygamy, it is kind of a thing. It's at least enough of a thing to be talked about by these publications, as you can see. A look at polygamy in Black America. And I peruse Black Twitter, and I do see some of this black polygamy stuff. You guys might even remember Brother Polite. You guys remember Brother Polite? Here's another publication, Madame Noir, talking about polygamy. And you guys remember Brother Polite? He was a Fallen State guest. He was that polygamous guy. That black polygamous guy on the Fallen State. See if I can pull up an image here to remind y'all. But anyways, you know, some see it, okay, this is like, wow, look at that Chad. Look at this total Chad with 4 wives. And look, some people think polygamy, they think, wow, Chad, this guy, it's very male-centered. This guy is the center of their world. He's doing it all. But people don't get it that women benefit from this as well. They benefit from, if the man has money and stability and security, he can provide that to multiple women. Doesn't have to be one. But I see that video I showed you, and polygamy in general, but black polygamy, I see that in context of Father's Day and all that. I see those benefits those women are getting, a benefit from necessity, okay, or out of desperation. I don't see this as a sign of a healthy populace, okay? This is like warlord stuff. A lot of people think, you know what I'm saying? Like, these women, we're seeing the relationship between black men and black women at probably their worst. We're seeing that in statistical realities like out of wedlock birth rates, but we're seeing that anecdotally, calls on the show. We see that online on the internet, in the culture. We see that the relationship between black women and black men is at an all-time low. And so some men with enough resources might be able to provide that kind of resource stability, or whatever, maybe even more, to multiple women. But you see, that's, like I said, it's a sign of desperation, in my opinion. It's out of necessity. If there were enough black men making it happen, I don't know if this would be so necessary. You know what I'm saying? This is not a sign of a healthy populace. I don't know if this is such a good thing. You know what I'm saying? And we see these black men, if they get money, they get white women. There was this post that's going kind of viral by this Twitter account, Truth to Power. Also kind of Father's Day related. And and it's about this post right here. Let me see if I can pull it up, okay? Patrick Mahomes. You guys know who this guy is? Patrick Mahomes. Okay, football quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, there was this post here. Blah, blah, blah. Here it is. Truth to Power, post this. And it's about race mixing. Okay? You can see here in the post it reads, 2 generations and that melanin gone. Fumbling with the computer here, but you can see it here. And this is the image of Patrick Mahomes. And I don't know, they're making it seem like this image on the right is his parents or something. And then they have a child. You know, you see a black man with a white woman. And they have a child. And then Patrick Mahomes with his white girlfriend, or wife, my bad. I don't know if they're married. And then they have a kid. 2 generations and that melanin gone. Like the post says. Trying to pull it up. Jeez, there it is. Is Patrick Mahomes married? I'm trying to get you the accurate information here. Patrick Mahomes married? Question mark. Yes, to Brittany Mahomes. They've had, I believe, a little daughter. I believe he also has a son. Unless that's just another daughter. But 2 generations is all it takes. It reminds me of the what's it called? That quilt that I showed you of the early Spanish Americas and the mestizos and that race chart. and how they saw it. The Spanish mixed with the natives and they created the castizos and the mestizos. But the quilt I showed you showed that if is it fair to say pure blood mixed with a mestizo, they would bring them back to castizo. And if that one mixed with another pure blood, they would bring them back to an español. So there's a way back. There's a way back when you've been polluted. That's just a joke. I'm just messing around. I'm a mutt as well. I got a caller here. Brian, North Carolina, man. I got you on the air. Appreciate your call.
Hey, thank you, Nick. How you doing, man?
What's up? I'm just fine. Thank you.
Right on, man. Hey, I don't know if that's just a joke or not, bro, because you hear the calls on the show with like talk about the black guys dealing with black women.
Wait, what? Yeah.
Man, when you see it in person, though, it's amazing. You know, when you actually see this stuff happening up close and personal between black men and black women, it's totally way worse than what we hear on the show.
Well, there you go. See, what do you mean by? Did you think I was joking? I guess I just wasn't following you.
Oh, you said polluted. You said
Oh no, that was a joke. That was a joke. But don't worry, there's a way back. I know
you're joking. I know you're joking.
The Spanish seem to believe that, though. Well, I'm
but black people are more than likely cursed, man. Straight up, it's so deep. Yeah. I just don't see most, nowhere near most, coming out of that. It's crazy when you live amongst them and you kind of see it. Like within pretty much everybody, it's like, man, there's no way you can tell them anything or they would see anything to come out of that because they love their mama.
Yep. Yeah, but even with what you just said, they love their mama. That phrase you said implies. Well, I don't know if it implies, but maybe some people might see it this way. It implies a way out.
No, it's for sure. Oh, for sure there's a way out. They just don't see it.
And it doesn't have to be having babies with a white person.
No, it doesn't. That's just another symptom.
Correct.
It's amazing. So true. But I was going to ask you, man, what's a halfa? Is that like a half-breed?
Yeah, a half-breed, a half-person.
Okay.
It's just that it sounds like a little bit more offensive. To say halfa. Like, wait, what'd you call me?
It almost sounds like heifer.
Right, that too.
That's funny.
Like, oh yeah, I'm mixed. Oh no, you're a halfa. Oh, you're one of those halfas.
Yeah. I embrace it.
Yeah.
We used to call it a mutt.
Yeah, diversity is my strength too.
Now I call myself an all-American mutt.
Hey.
Cause I'm black, white, and Native American.
That's all American, baby.
That's what I'm saying.
I cannot logically deny that.
Man, man, right on. So I'm gonna get to what I called about.
Okay.
I can't remember. It was some time ago, a short time ago. You asked me a question, and it really got me thinking. You asked me if I thought there was a way for a man to be right, and I think we were talking about high value men or something like that.
Okay.
And I said awareness, just being aware. And I thought about, when you asked me, I thought about it for a moment, and that word just came to me. And I had already been thinking about the idea of being made perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of went in. I kind of went into thinking about that, and it got me to remembering what it was like as I've been becoming aware. I noticed that awareness happens in almost like levels, because I went from having a false sense of awareness to, okay, I started like waking up, and then I went to having like no awareness, where I was just like seeing everything, but I didn't know what was up or down. And so I'm like, I began questioning a lot of things, and then you go to having this certain level of awareness to where I went through this phase of like letting my ego die, because I see things and then I had a judgment about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then, I'm coming out of that now, and I'm in this place where you just see, it seems like you see so much more. I don't want to say everything, but everything's just kind of laid out. And through the way I've learned like how it's supposed to be. And it just made me think about America, and how the biggest thing we have in America is the freedom of speech. And all of this awareness would mean nothing if I didn't have the freedom of speech. And so just being aware and being a man in America is so important, because it's going to allow you to speak and stand up when you need to, but also know when to fold them and let God do what he's going to do.
Interesting, man. Makes a lot of sense. And it's true what you said about even the idea of taking away freedom of speech, because it's like what you're describing are these basic things we have from existence, and men have, free men have. And the idea that you could even take away free speech. Very interesting. Also, I wanted to ask you, you said false sense of awareness. Could you expand on that? What do you mean? What is that?
It's what I mean by that is what you kind of see in a lot of black people today, where they're so adamant about what they think they know.
Ah, gotcha.
And they're not seeing, and they think that they know, they're like standing still inside of nothing, but they can't see it until it's too late.
Totally intellectual. Woke, not awake.
Yeah, totally woke.
Okay, I got you. So like still into like old stuff.
I don't even know if it's old stuff. It's like nothing. It's just made up.
I got you, man. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, awareness. I'm trying to remember what I asked you back then. I guess I just asked you, how can a man be right?
Yeah, something along those lines. Is there a way for a man to be right?
Man, awareness is everything. If there's anything, it's really the only thing.
That's what I mean, man. No, that's it. That's awareness is really everything.
So true, Brian. Man, so true.
But I appreciate you putting something for me to think about, because that really, like, I've been thinking about that for a little while now.
No way.
And I wanted to call you.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't expect. Yeah, I definitely don't, and I don't think you ever do expect that when you say something.
No.
Right on, Brian.
Yeah,
call me again.
I appreciate
for sure.
it, man. Right on. You take care.
Yeah, thank you for your call. Moving the wheels. Moving the wheels. I do appreciate all your calls. You can call in 888-775-3773. I'm going to attempt something here. Because I really wanted you to hear this next video. And so, who's changed the batteries to their smoke alarm lately? Come on. Anybody got a beep going? Anybody got a smoke alarm chirp? There was a caller earlier on the JLP show. And I forget if they were combative with Jesse. They may have been a little bit of a disagreeer, but they enjoy the show, right? They like the show. They enjoy the show. We appreciate the calls. And this caller, I'm exaggerating, but people weren't listening to the great call because they were too busy focused on the caller's smoke alarm chirping in the background. And the chat, of course, ensued their chirping of this man. Chirping means to, poke fun at, bully, maybe a little bit. Bullying. But yeah, so this caller had a chirping smoke alarm. People were only paying attention to that. And it reminded me of this video here I want to show you. Because what's up with the not changing smoke alarm batteries? And this is a usually black people are wait, what am I in denial about? Usually black people are wait. I want to know what I'm in denial about. I shouldn't be paying attention to the chat like this. Yeah, black people are usually the ones who are charged with this offense of not changing their smoke alarm, beeps. And so this video of Devin Haney, okay? Devin Haney, professional boxer, okay? Doing pretty well for himself, this young man. This young man, Devin Haney, who is trying to find out his age. Do we get an age? Who cares? But Devin Haney here is doing well in the boxing world. He's also doing very well for himself. He's copping Richard Mille's, which is a very expensive type of watch, luxury type watch here. And in this video, which I'm still not sure you'll be able to hear, Devin Haney here is showing off his brand new watches, which he got from a win, okay? Worth $420,000. That's how much money this watch is worth. And I just want to be sure that you'll be able to hear this video. I think you will. Let's play it because this man is showing off his very expensive watch, okay, in this video. And let us play the footage. I'm stalling for time as I try and play the footage. Here it is. Yes, I believe you can hear it. This is good news. Your host cannot currently hear this video, but I've already heard it, so it's okay. And so now all of you lovely people will enjoy the video as I have. Check it out.
Just a gift to myself.
It's the RM3502, Red Nadal. It's another 400,000 right here.
I just bought another house. I'm in the real estate too.
Mm-hmm.
What's his number? We call this number 30, right?
30 and 0.
Who is this?
29 and 0. 28 and 0. Mm-hmm.
This was 23 and
0. Did it already play? I can't hear the video, but did the beep already play? I think it did because some of you guys are commenting on it. Beep. $420,000 watch. I Hake earlier. There was the beep. There was the caller on the JLP show with the beeps, and Hake earlier was laughing at the beeps, and he wondered. He's like, I guess it must be a common thing. And showing his non-judgmental, innocent heart towards the blacks. And I'm not saying that sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but he didn't know. He didn't realize that this has been memed about, and black people are charged with this offense commonly. He's like, I guess it must be common. I guess it must be common. But yeah, $420,000 watch. So please, ladies and gentlemen, from the Biden administration, make this Juneteenth the day you change the smoke alarm batteries. We're just poking fun. We're just joshing. It's all fun, okay? It's all fun. We're just chirping. We're just chirping with love, okay? It's just a little chirp, okay? We're chirping your chirps. We got a super chat here from Lin Yen Chin. Says, wait, you said there's a way back? Can I stop the Chinese DNA inside me from digesting my black and other DNA as global Chinese harmonic resonance makes me into Emperor Chinaman? Lin Yen Chin wonders. Well, if you follow the logic of the Spanish race chart here, you guys know what I'm talking about here? I showed you this chart. What was it? Mestizo quilt. And when the Spanish came to South America and started mixing, they created the castizos, which is like Spanish mixed with like indigenous people. And then if that castizo baby had a baby with another indigenous person, that baby would then be a mestizo. So further mixed. But in that same quilt, a mestizo having a child with a castizo would create that would create something else. But with a Spanish person, it would create a castizo. So that's, you're now coming back from mestizo. And then if that castizo had a child with another Spanish, they would once again return to being full Spanish. If you guys were confused earlier or confused by Lin Yen Chin's super chat, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the support over there on Rumble. It's been growing. The party's growing on Rumble. Dennis 2020, Big Mama Obama, Being Enlightened Till I Rise. Super cool. And of course, Hake of the Hake Report. I appreciate the support over there on Rumble. Very cool. Let me see. What else do we got? We got more show. We got more things to do. Let me make sure nobody's donated over there on Streamlabs. As I have the correct link there in the chat. I mean, in the description, if you wanted to support me there via Streamlabs. Perfect. Oh, nice. Animus. Thanks for the super chat there on Streamlabs. Hola, Senor Nick. Muy bueno piloto. I got a call here. Mark, California. I appreciate your call. You're on the air.
Yes, I wanted to talk about AI, but if it's okay with you, would I be allowed to talk about this Juneteenth?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you'd rather talk about that.
Yeah, because I actually forgot about it until you mentioned it. It's another fraud. It's costing the taxpayers.
Oh, hold on, sorry. Go ahead. You were saying?
I was going to say that the holiday that Biden signed a couple of years ago, this false baloney Juneteenth crap, is costing the taxpayers millions and millions of dollars to shut the government down, basically, to appease a bunch of rioters and criminals that should have been kept in slavery, personally, I think. And it's just ridiculous. No, I mean, when there was slavery...
Go hard. Mark, saying they should have stayed. You heard it here first, folks. Those people maybe should have stayed in slavery, says Mark.
Well, let me just say this. Rush Limbaugh said once, the only time we had safe streets all in America was when we had slavery.
Rush said that?
The only time we had safe streets. Rush Limbaugh said that years ago.
Well, if Rush said it... No,
Pardon?
I said, well, if Rush said it, and then I left it at a cliffhanger.
Well, I mean, think about it yourself. When we had slavery, it made sense to me to know that there was probably very, very little crime in our major cities. Of course, there were white criminals, but the degree of crime is low. There were no race-hate crimes, like we have all over the place today. So Juneteenth is a bogus holiday. It's a pandering to a group that votes Democrat, and really that's all it is. There's nothing more than that.
It's a justification of anger. It's a justification of hate. It's just right. You are right. You are right for being mad. You are, and they're using like fake history to do it too. Now it may be true about the whole. It took them a while to get the news that they were free. That may have happened, but they're just using that to justify hate, anger.
Yes, agreed. I saw something over the weekend, and I thought about you. It was two specials that I watched. One was on the current state of affairs in Jackson, Mississippi, and the other one was the present condition of the country of South Africa. And there were so many similarities. The black crime rate in South Africa is beyond the pale. Mm-hmm. And it's the same in our own state here in the U.S. of Mississippi. The cops are worthless in both places. Now, I'm not anti-police, but they just don't have the money, they don't have the resources, and black crime is out of control all over South Africa and Jackson, Mississippi. Both at one time were the cradles of segregation. Jackson, Mississippi was a segregated city. It was safe. South Africa had the hardest apartheid laws in the world, and they had the only civilization in the whole continent of Africa. Now, both apartheid and segregation have been defeated, and civilization is collapsing. And the 2-hour special on South Africa, and this guy that was doing the narrating, he was from South Africa. And he said, everything that's going on in the U.S. today is a precursor to what happened in South Africa. And it was scary. I mean, it was scary. They were just looting and pillaging, raping. It's the rape capital of the world, practically. I don't know about the world, but it's definitely
South
one of the
Africa
worst.
Is?
Yes. And it's out of control. And he blamed the ANC and Nelson Mandela for the current condition in South Africa. Even though Mandela's dead, his legacy was one of destruction. He was a communist. And they should have executed him back in the early 60s.
Would you say it's would you agree with him that it was Nelson Mandela's fault?
Oh, absolutely. He's the one that brought apartheid to an end, him and his fellow communists and the communists that we have in this country that did it. It was that what caused the downfall of that
but
one
Nelson
great
Mandela,
country.
I mean, Nelson Mandela was an elected president, no?
Was he? I don't. He may
was he
have been.
elected?
I don't know.
I don't know, actually. Never mind.
But I do know that
he
was
served
not
as
a
the
good
first president of South Africa.
Well, no, he couldn't have been the first.
That's what Wikipedia says.
Well, I mean, under apartheid, you had white presidents going back hundreds of years. I think both
makes sense.
𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆, something like that. He was the last white president, and he sold out. He sold out his fellow white men and his country, and look where they're at today. And it's so scary when you see that.
Wikipedia says Nelson Mandela was elected, and I don't know the details, but what do you think about that?
It's possible. I mean, it's a black majority over there. And the thing is, the difference between the U.S. and South Africa is that we still have a white majority.
Okay.
And that keeps them in check to a degree. But in South Africa, it was a black majority, even under apartheid. Now it's the rape capital. They're looting and stealing, and our press, our news media is not covering it. Mm-hmm. They can't get out of the country. White South Africans are trying to leave, but they're not, no other. I think there's something like 3 countries in the world that will accept white South Africans into their country. Excuse me. And I'm not sure what they are. I think it's like, 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, and, countries like that. But only a few. And most people, whites in South Africa, can't afford to pick up and leave. So they're stuck in this nightmare. The farmers are at risk. And they have I don't remember the call letters, but there's a political party over there that advocates killing whites. The way they put it, they said, we don't think it's quite yet time to start killing whites. But what does that tell you? and the world doesn't care. All the world cared about was ending apartheid.
I got
Once
you.
it ended, everything fell apart.
I got you, man. Yeah, I mean, there's people here in America, like, for example, what was it? It was Buckhead. Buckhead, is it Atlanta?
Yeah.
And people who are, they don't like the crime and stuff. And in Mississippi, too, didn't they elect, like, they changed, like, they elected, like, some unelected official that's going to make new rules for police or something like that. And people were saying that's racist because it's going to include like a black area, and you can't just start making rules for us. But the reason that they're doing it in the first place is because of like crime and stuff.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they're like forced to do so. And then there was this neighborhood, Buckhead, Atlanta, where whites basically want to have a nice place, but anytime they try to do that in this country, it's racism. You're trying to keep blacks in the bad area and stuff like that.
Well,
but do you think that's really possible? You think that's really, like, for example, segregation in America? You think that's the way forward?
I don't know. It probably won't happen, but it would be the only thing that could save us. But in regards to Mississippi, I know what you're talking about. The state assembly, which is almost 90% white, wants to bring special police or extra police to Jackson, and the local NAACP doesn't want that. They'd rather keep things bad as they are. And the city of Jackson is about 80 to 90% black, with a black mayor. And if you saw the pictures of what it looks like in Jackson, it's a disgrace. It's the murder capital of the country.
It's wild, man. The crime, and it's pretty messed up. And then you can't say anything about it because it's racism and all that. But real quick, you mentioned South Africa, and I know we could see them as like a parallel and a warning for us and for America, for white people and all that. But like you said, it's a black majority over there, and you mentioned Nelson Mandela and his part in the blame he takes for all of it. But you can't. We don't have those same things here, right? We don't have a black majority, and we don't have Nelson Mandela. So how did it happen here?
It could happen here with the open border. They're not just Mexicans coming across. They're from Africa. They're the third world. And they will vote for communism because they don't know freedom.
No, I'm not saying it can't. I'm not saying it can't. No, it's already South Africa and America is already happening. But I'm not saying it can't happen. But you can't blame the same things here, is what I'm saying. Nelson Mandela and a black majority.
Well, not yet, because they're still a minority. But you had Martin Luther King. He would be, parallel to who Mandela was, but he was in this country, and he's the one that broke the segregation laws. Segregation was the law of the land until the 50s and 60s, and we had peace. They'll never be equal. They'll always be behind. They'll always have to have special programs and privileges if they're ever going to compete with the white man, because the only equality you can give them is artificial.
So who do you blame in this case?
Affirmative action is artificial equality.
True. So true. Yeah, and it's artificial. It's artificial and which is not at all, and artificial love, which is not love at all.
Exactly. You want to see love, go down to South Central at night and take a walk across their little neighborhood over there. See how long you last.
That's how I'll see love?
Well, heck yeah, it's not safe.
That's how you'll say that's how I see love?
We're supposed to love everybody.
Okay, I'll give that a shot, Mark. I'll give that a shot, Mark. You said if I want to see love, go walk in South Central at night. That's what. That's the advice you gave me, right?
Well, I'm being facetious.
I'll give it a try. I'm playing too. I didn't actually. I was just joking, Mark. But listen.
Yeah, I tell liberals that all the time when they bring up race equality. They go, well, let's take a walk. Let's go to our nation's capital, D.C., and take a walk across the city at night. See if these liberals are not on our side by the time it's over.
But who would you blame in this case? It was Nelson and the black majority in South Africa. But in America, it's different. Yeah.
Well, in the U.S., we had sellout Democrats and rhino Republicans who signed the Civil Rights Bill. I know that goes back ways to 64, almost 60 years ago, but it takes time for this evil to really show itself in the culture. And now it's showing itself at full blast, and it's ugly. You go to, and even in small towns, I'm from a small Midwestern town.
Oh, yeah, no way.
The All-American, pardon me?
I said, no way. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm from the Midwest, and the town I grew up in, I'm not going to name it, but it was a Beaver town. It was a safe town. It was beautiful. We left our doors open at night, all that, windows open. And in 1967, we moved to the other side of town, to the white part of town. Now, if you go to where I grew up, it's not safe day or night to go out. It's drug dealers, gangs. Evil has won in my hometown, and they don't know what to do about it. They just don't know what to do. The cops are handcuffed. They're not as bad over there as they are out here, maybe, but they're pretty bad. I mean, it's pretty bad. The police really can't do their job. And if anybody knows...
why would they allow that to happen? No, I understand. It's multiple forces. I know it's kind of like an not ignorant, but kind of like a maybe shallow question, but it is still a good question. Why would the people there allow it to happen?
What can we do? I mean, what can we do? Mm-hmm. We can't, unless we change the laws, there's nothing we can do. That's the problem in Georgia.
Well, one thing for sure is, and here I'm speaking generally, just generally to white people, one thing is, how about say the truth? Because it's like, I hear you. Like, what can you do when laws are changed? You have the government bringing in people and all this stuff. But at the same time, you can't say that white people are doing everything they can. They're not. Well, no, they're weak. They don't say the truth. They hide away. It's just, you know what I mean?
Well, the problem I have when I speak to fellow white people, they'll say, well, we agree with you, but what can we do? That's the problem.
But that makes it sound like that makes it sound like white people are doing everything they can. And they're not. They're doing like the opposite of that. They're running.
They are, because there's no way to win. How do we win when they put us in jail for protesting a rigged election?
I know that's where we got to now, and I don't know about all that, but help me out, Mark. Don't ruin my channel. But
not at all.
I'm just saying, like I said, you said, they're gonna put you in jail, but that's only like now happening. It didn't just suddenly start happening. My point being,
no, Nick. If you go back to the 60s, you'll see that the same games they're playing with Trump and his supporters are exactly out of the playbook they used against the KKK.
But would you say... Oh, sorry, I'll let you finish. My apologies. Same as the KKK. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying the same methods used by the federal government to take out the Klan are the same methods used today, 50 years later, to go after Trump and his supporters. Same thing.
Would you say white people, since that time, they've been steadfast and speaking the truth about this fake racism and all that since then?
The whites?
Yes.
Oh, well, some have, but a lot of them...
Some or like very little, barely any.
Well, they're afraid. No, we had George Wallace.
That's my point here.
I know, but we can
I understand
still
it's difficult, and I'm not saying, look, sorry, you can still what?
We can still vote. And as long as we're
nice,
majority,
but what about in your daily lives and at your job? Not your job. Don't be political. But my point being that I don't think you could say about white people in general that they've been, despite the country, going the way it's going, people accusing them for racism they never did, and all that happening. Let's say all of that was happening, and their neighborhoods, they're getting destroyed or whatever. Let's say all that was happening, but through it all, you couldn't say about white people that they were weak. Even though all that was happening, one thing you can't say about them is white people just let it happen. That's just not true. It's the opposite is true. They just totally allowing it.
Well, okay, I'll give you an example. I had to sell a house, and when I sold the house, it was I would say about a 70% white area, but it was falling. All the neighbors begged me, don't sell to a black, don't sell to a black. I said, I'll do the best I can. But what can you do when they come up to you and they got the money? You got to sell it. It's violation of your constitutional rights. It's your property, and you have a right to tell who you want to. But that's the Civil Rights Bill. You can't. You could be sued. Well, luckily, I found a white person to buy the place. But what I'm getting at, it's not that I'm scared. I'm only scared of losing the house.
But not you. Look, I'm not talking about you selling it to a black or a white or not. I'm clearly not talking about you, because from the calls I've had with you, Mark, it doesn't seem like you're afraid to say the truth about racism, etc. Doesn't sound like you're one of those people.
Well, no, but I couldn't just. I still.
You see what I'm saying? Most people, my impression of white people is the impression we see in those, I don't know, in like videos and stuff of white people. They're like, I want equality because of all the horrible things my ancestors did, and you know what I mean? I'm talking about those. It seems like we have more of those than people like you, Mark, and even people like, and I'm not saying this that you are like this, but the white people that do speak up are angry and bitter. And so that's another weakness.
Well, I am angry. I don't want to see my country. I don't want to see my country go to, to go down like this. I don't want it to become South Africa. But what can I do? I mean, you tell me. What am I supposed to do?
Two things. What you don't realize, the thing you don't realize is there's all these things happening with this president, that president, this political thing, this, dark thing that people did with power in the dark. But the thing you don't realize is it's all coming from anger, okay? Anger destroyed all the things you're talking about, okay? And so you're saying, I am angry. I'm angry at this country falling apart and all this, not realizing that it's that same anger that's putting the fear in all the white people you're talking about. You're talking about white people are afraid. Well, why are they afraid? Because they have anger, okay? That's very same anger they have within. Where do you think the source of fear comes from?
Violent attacks against fellow whites.
No, I'm not talking about that fear. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the, watching out for yourself. I'm talking about that fear you get because you don't want to lose things, the fear of speaking the truth. The fear of those white people that you just talked about. Their fear comes from that anger. Well,
maybe it's justified.
Well,
look at what's going on around us.
Okay, so you're agreeing with me that the source is anger, but you're saying that anger is justified. But if you agree with me that the source of fear is anger, then how does that justify anger ever?
Well, if you lose a loved one to a crime, or if the value of your home, and what do they call it? Wealth passed on. When you see that being lost, if you didn't get angry, you'd be insane. It's a natural reaction when you see evil that hurts someone you love or hurts you. You're naturally going to be angry. I mean, look at the riots we had because of George Floyd. They got angry. And I'm talking about the blacks because this guy was, allegedly killed by a cop. So they destroyed the country, or they tried to destroy the country. That's where the anger is. What I don't see is a reaction to it. We need to have a
But if that's true what you were saying, that these people are justified in their anger and this anger is going to help them take the action they need, why aren't they taking the action they need to? Why isn't it happening then?
Because at every corner we're being... we're being hit with gun control laws. Are trying to take our guns. The criminal justice system isn't locking these criminals up, so we got to see them on the street.
So then why do they have the fear? You agree with me they have the fear.
Well, sure, they have the fear. I didn't deny it. I'd be fearful, too, if I had to live in a neighborhood like
I'm not talking about I'm not talking about like, just watching your back because you might get physically hurt. I'm talking about the fear people have when speaking about these things. Afraid of not looking racist.
That's the problem. And, when it comes to racism...
but you're saying that they have this... You're saying they're angry and this is going to give them the anger is going to let them take the right action and do things the right way, but they have fear. How are you able to have both?
Oh, very easily. I mean, I feel fearful for the fate of my country, but I'm not going to stop speaking up. And but I'm a little different than most. But I'm still a minority amongst my own people, unfortunately. But I'm going to keep speaking the truth and doing the best I can and praying that this whole thing changes. But we're fighting against Satan and his army. And it's a tough fight, and I just hope to God we win. We've had warnings. We've had warnings from history of what's going to happen here, all the way back to the...
You can't win if you're angry.
Well, I don't know how you couldn't.
Because you can't see right. Because you can't see right, you can't see straight. You can't see... That's why people, for example, you were talking just earlier about January 6th and all that. If the people weren't angry, they would have been able to see that this is a big mistake. We're walking into a trap.
Well, they had FBI. I believe that they had FBI agents amongst them, and they also had Antifa.
Yeah, but there was plenty of non-FBI people who ran in with them. If they weren't angry, they would have been. They wouldn't have been. They wouldn't have been fooled by FBI agents, because if it's true that if allegedly these FBI agents were in the crowd riling them up, well, what did those FBI agents use? Their anger.
Well, no, the FBI agents were con men.
They used their emotions and their anger.
Well, no, the FBI hates white people. They were trying.
I know, but we're talking. Look, you're going to besides. Yeah, that may be true, but you're skipping over what I'm telling you right now. Is that the FBI or whatever actor in that crowd would not have been able to use those people if they didn't have that anger and that emotion to be riled up in the first place.
You're talking about the innocent people that were jailed. No,
absolutely.
They were protesting under the First Amendment to peacefully assemble.
But they also ran into the Capitol and did some, they also ran into the Capitol, and they were mostly nice, but there was some smashing and there was some this and that.
You're going to give a guy 6 years in prison for breaking a window?
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, but we both agree these are our enemies. And you're saying I'm angry like it's a good thing, and I'm trying to show you how the anger blinded those innocent people that you're saying are innocent.
Okay, let me ask you this. If you love somebody, if you love your girlfriend, family member, anybody, and somebody hurts that person,
okay,
you're not going to be angry?
I might, but I'll know that I hope that in that moment, if I felt anger, that I would hope that I would have a moment of awareness and realize this anger I'm feeling is not good. I'm not going to be able to see the situation. I won't be. Let's say in this situation, my girlfriend gets attacked. Okay, if I get angry, I won't be able to deal with the threat in a sober-minded way. Okay.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but how could you really love somebody if you don't hate what tries to hurt it?
Well,
if you really love her,
I would flip it on you. How do you really love that? I would flip it on you. How can you say you really love a person when you won't even put aside your knee-jerk lizard brain reaction and put aside your emotions and deal with the situation in a correct way out of your love for that person? No, instead you go to your first emotion. You're like, how could you hit her? That's my girlfriend. Instead of putting that aside and dealing with the situation sober-minded when the situation requires you to do that, which would be the loving thing to do. Instead, you go with your first emotion. How is that love?
So here we go. Let's say I'm walking down the street with my girlfriend and some thug comes up and assaults her. Am I supposed to say, "Oh, sir, please"?
I'm not saying. I'm not telling you what you have to say. Maybe your reaction sounds tough and you yell. I'm not saying I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you about your inner response to it, okay? Maybe you have to yell. Maybe you have to punch that guy out. I don't know what the situation calls for, but anger will have you react to whatever situation comes in the wrong way 100% of the time.
But it's a human, natural reaction. If you love somebody and somebody tries to hurt it, it's insane to say that you're not going to hate that person. I mean, you could say that in a setting like we're in here, we're talking. But in reality, when it happens, that hate's going to come out. That anger is going to come out.
That doesn't change that if that were to happen and that anger were to come out, that it would be wrong.
It would be wrong.
Exactly, and that's my point here. I'm not saying that it's not common. I'm not saying that it's not normal in that sense that it's common, but I'm saying that we should have a higher mind than that. We should be above that in all cases. And so you just agreed with me. You just said, wait, didn't you just agree with me that it would be wrong?
About the anger?
You said it would be wrong. Despite it being normal, it would be wrong.
In a way, it would be, because how normal is it to sit back and see a loved one beaten or killed and not be angry?
Well,
I mean, that's asking a little too much. When you consider,
but you're adding
the
to it. You're
reaction-
saying sit back. You're making it sound like you have to feel anger to take action, and that is a weird connection
what kind
you've
of
made.
action?
Because
What
you don't
type
need
of
to
action
feel
do you
angry
need?
or be angry to take action. Because you're saying you have to sit back and not feel anger. You don't have to sit back. You don't have to. You know what I'm saying here? You don't have to feel anger to take action. I'm telling you, if you feel anger, you will take the wrong action.
Yeah, but it's just a natural response. As far as the law is concerned, if somebody attacks your girl on the street and you're with her and you go after the guy, I don't think the cops are going to put you in jail. They might, but if things were like they should be, he would go to jail and you'd get a medal. Was that guy?
But can't you react without anger
on
though?
The train? Was he angry? The dude Penny that choked out.
But wait, before you go into, we've talked about Danny Penny already, man, and I understand what's going on with him. It's bad, but listen, wouldn't you agree with me that if you've, under anger, you would more likely take the wrong action because you're not thinking straight?
When you say wrong action, are you speaking legally or morally?
Both.
No, legally,
sometimes both, but I guess morally.
Well, you can call it what you want. You can call it temporary insanity, whatever you want to do. But if someone attacks the person I love, I'm going to go after them. And if you think that's being overreaction or overreacting, then you're a pacifist.
No, I think it shows me you don't love that person. It shows me that you'll just go along with an emotion instead of putting it aside. Should the moment require it.
So what would you do? Would you tell the attacker?
I don't know. I'd have to be in the situation. I'd have to be in the situation.
Yeah, but you have never lost your temper or got angry.
Of course I have.
Then you're human.
Right, but I'm not saying that's normal or good like you.
Pardon?
I'm not saying it's a normal or a good thing like you are.
Well, I'm not. It's a natural reaction.
But
it's neither good or bad. It's just a natural.
It's natural in that it's normal. It's natural in that it's common, but that doesn't make it natural as in good or something that you should be okay with within yourself and justify.
Well, I'm okay with what Daniel Penny did. I'm fine with that. I think he should get a ticker tape parade, but I don't think.
But it's interesting that you're kind of stuck on that, on this white person or that white person. It's kind of interesting that you're stuck on this white person or that white injustice when we're having a conversation about you.
Okay.
Are you and the conversation about your anger with this injustice and all that, and
of course.
And you're okay with that anger.
Well, I'm not going to turn it into violence.
Fair enough, Mark. I totally understand you, man. I do appreciate your call, man. Call me again.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Moving the wheels. Sorry, guys. Spent a long time there. All right. Yeah, interesting stuff there. Spent a long time there. My apologies. I wanted to finish that up. Why is Hake always typing AFK? Like he types that over and over again. It seems like you're FK. I mean, you're with your keyboard. And someone else said something I was going to comment on. Oh, well. Oh, well. I do appreciate the support here. I got some super chats here. Super chats. Lin Yan Chen, thank you. With double supers here, back to back. Saying anger is normal. Oh, he says anger blunts reaction time, lowering precision motor function, reducing the flow of kinematic chains that generate optimal combat potential. Hate slows and muddies the mind while making you feel high. Thank you, Lin Yan Chen. So true. He also says anger is normal. That's why normal people are garbage martial artists. They don't know how to fight, only how to blindly swing in the tempo of Satan. Nice. Thank you. Yeah, all these normies out here with anger. Jabrail NTP with the support. Thank you. And Madi Ubaldo. You guys rock. Thanks for the support. Thank you for the super chats. And the support on Rumble. I see the party grows. I see Steve Struck over there. Lily Poo, nice. Spaz out. We got everybody coming out for the Rumble. Okay. All right, what's next here? We got calls and we got some stuff here. Let me do this next. Let's see here. Did we do it? Oh, yeah, we already did the chirp. Let me do calls. Teresa, Texas, I do appreciate your call. Go ahead.
Hey, Nick.
What's up, Teresa? How you been?
I'm good. Guess what?
No woman is good. Okay, go ahead.
Y'all talked about where I live today on Jesse's show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Galveston.
Oh, yeah, what happened in I must have missed the story. Galveston, Texas.
Juneteenth.
Oh, yeah, of course. Juneteenth, come on.
Yeah, nothing happens here on Juneteenth, at least not for the past 10 years that I've been living here.
Oh, in the very birthplace of Juneteenth?
In the very birthplace.
Wow. What a shame.
You would think, matter of fact, they do more on 4th of July.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds racist.
I know, it does. But, like, they don't observe it. Like what you see on TV and what you hear, unless you see it yourself happening, don't believe everything you hear.
Right. I was saying earlier, I doubt.
Because these black folks don't care about this stuff down here.
Yeah.
It's too hot.
I find it hard to believe that even in I might be wrong, but even with black people, I think Father's Day is celebrated as in a higher regard than Juneteenth. Is that a stretch? I'd say even
ask all the restaurants, they'll tell you, yep.
Say again?
I said ask all the restaurants or the barbecue, going grilling,
Okay.
They sell big time meat on Father's Day.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think nobody's celebrating that stuff. Come on.
Nobody kept. Listen, you would think with it being the birthplace here that, all these political people would be here putting money into this.
Yeah, where's Kamala Harris?
In this little bitty town. This is a little bitty island.
So Galveston is, I'm looking at it on the map right now. It's this little island I'm looking at?
It's an island.
They freed the slaves here in Galveston Island?
Yeah, and I went and looked at some historical stuff and even like some stuff back in like 1890 something. They had this big hurricane or something like that, and they were talking about how everybody got together, black and white and everything like that. But they were saying how the newspapers were spreading all this gossip that people weren't getting along, and it was all a lie.
Mm.
And I was like, isn't that funny? They're doing the same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there was any major celebrations. I see this one guy in front of a mural in Galveston.
In front of a mural?
Yeah, looks like there's some mural there. A Juneteenth mural.
Yeah, it's I guess they just painted on the side of a building. It just painted over all the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I can find. In the very birthplace, what a shame.
There's nothing. They have one building, that building that they were talking about, that it came, the villa, whatever. Well, now they just do a lot of weddings and stuff in there.
What a shame.
They have like a little thing out there, a sign out there saying, come in, do a Juneteenth tour and stuff like that, but ain't nobody going up there.
Seriously. Yeah, I gotta say, there's nobody who cares about this.
And I'm just like, wow, really? I was like, yeah. And matter of fact, like, people were like saying, well, why are the buses on a different schedule? Because it's a federal holiday. What federal holiday?
Oh, yeah.
And these are black people saying.
You're saying it's not?
No, I was on the bus.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
like the bus is on a different schedule since it's a holiday.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And so, like, everybody was saying, like, all the black people on the bus was saying, why are we on a weekend schedule? Why are we on a holiday schedule?
Gotcha.
Like, because it's a
No
holiday.
idea. It's your holiday. Hello. Yeah, right on.
Maybe that was all I was going to say.
Funny stuff, Teresa. No, I say a shame as a joke, but I mean, really, this is just the truth. People don't care.
Just don't believe everything that you hear unless you see it with your own eyes.
Right on, Teresa. I like that. Thank you for that.
All right.
Call me
Talk to you
again.
later.
Moving
Bye.
the wheels. Moving those wheels. Beautiful. Moving the wheels. Tolerance. We should just tolerate this, okay? Let them have Juneteenth. Let them have their Juneteenth. We can have White History Month. And we can all have our own thing. And then we can, like, separate and segregate and, and tolerate each other. Tolerance. Been a bit of a discussion on the JLP show for Sunday's church as well. I realized that, here's a little thing on tolerance. I realized tolerance is an imitation of love. It's like a false love, like an imitation. That's why we think it's good. I realized that's why we think it's like a virtue to tolerate, to have tolerance. That's why we say Jesus was tolerant, because we think we saw him, when we read about him being around everyone, we think he was tolerating them. It's an imitation of it, because we know that if you had love, somewhere deep inside, we know that if you had love, you wouldn't be hating. You wouldn't hate. And so it's an imitation of it. And that's why we think it's a good thing. We think it's a virtue. But what's loving about, imagine being like, tolerating, oh, I don't like you, and I would rather not be around you, and I'd rather, but I'll do it. I'll grit my teeth and, okay, I'll tolerate you. And meanwhile, inside, grumble, grumble. What's loving about that? Could you imagine if Jesus was like that? Oh, like, okay, you do that, but I'll tolerate it. That doesn't sound loving. It sounds weak. And when they read about Jesus being around all these people, around the sinners, I don't know, they call that tolerance. But I say it's an imitation because the reason people do that today is not because, it's not in a Jesus way where Jesus overcame the world. So he wasn't bothered by anyone. And so being around them, being around sinners, it wasn't it was real love because he didn't judge them, but he wasn't weak with them. He said the truth to them. He asked them to stop sinning. He would tell people to stop sinning. Now, if they didn't, I don't know if he didn't lose his mind over it, but you see what I'm saying here? But it's the opposite for people today. They'd rather not be around certain people or do this or that, but they tolerate it because that's how they are inside. Okay, they've tolerated evil inside themselves. So how can they go and tell this person they're gross or bad for this when they are themselves evil? And you notice the tolerant people, they're not tolerant because they're around anyone who's challenges their, view of themselves, their evil or whatever. It's like, okay, that person's got to go. You're calling this person a he when they're a trans? Yeah, you got to go. We don't tolerate that. Yeah, it's an imitation of it. Satan imitates everything. You know how Satan does that little trick where he imitates everything? It's like almost the right thing, but wait a second. When you peel back the layers, it's actually all bad. You follow me here? I got Frederick, Los Angeles, California. I appreciate your call, man. Go ahead.
How's it going there, Nick?
What's up, Frederick? How you been?
I'm all right. Happy Juneteenth to you. Happy Juneteenth. I think it's a beautiful holiday. It's CRT permanently stamped in history.
This
if
is
you have anger, right?
Huh?
Check your feelings. Check your feelings. If
Okay,
you have
okay,
anger,
okay.
Any feelings of it? You're right. Anger is the enemy, and it's going to create more love. So I love the anger.
You love what?
I love the anger. It breeds more love. Anger, only love can conquer anger. So the more anger y'all breed against the blacks, then the more love they receive.
Who are you talking to right now?
I'm talking to you.
Are you sure? It doesn't sound like it. You're talking to like an apparition. You're talking to like a faceless person who, and this faceless person is angry and railing against Juneteenth, and you're like, bring it on, give me more. It'll just make us blacks better. Like, who are you talking to right now? You know what I mean? It's like you're talking to someone in your mind. When am I angry about Juneteenth? Like, are you talking to me right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What do you mean by Juneteenth and anger?
I'm the spokesman for the homeless and the poverty-ridden.
I know, but you see what the point I'm making here? Because it's like you're talking to another person. Who's here angry about Juneteenth?
There's a couple people who are angry about Juneteenth and it being close to Father's Day, but we need more history to be taught.
You need more what?
Instead of the ignorant history. Them people were free for a long time, and there was the way people that had them in captivity lied to them and had them keep working for free for all that time. That just goes to the extent of the way.
So is that actually true?
Yeah.
Because you lied earlier about like Trump and on Hake's show saying Trump made Juneteenth or something like that.
Yeah, he put that on his. He said he was gonna try to.
Oh, yeah, that's different than what you said earlier. Now you looked it up. Now you got a chance to Google it and check your lies. Now you got a chance to look it up, and you saw that Trump made the promise. You're right. He made a promise, but it was Biden who did it.
Biden stamped his paperwork. That's his idea.
Nope, that's also not true. It was different paperwork for the 2021 bipartisan bill. I'm reading it right now.
Well, I'm in California. Oh, you're reading it right now. I thought you said, where are you right now?
Yeah, I'm reading it right now.
And what is that?
But anyways, yeah, so chat, take what he's saying with a grain of salt. But okay, you're saying that the white people, hold on, man, we're 1 minute at a time, man. Come on. You're saying that the holiday is about these white people, they had these black people working, even though they were free. And then you said what? You said this goes to show what?
Just the way, like, you need to pay attention to the news and what's going on really before you end up in the same position. Because a lot of people acting like slavery wasn't that bad and it was a choice. But I said slavery is a choice. So if it's okay to be is a choice, it might come back. Why do people think like that? No, anger, you're right. Anger is going to breed more love and we're going to end up outgrowing it. So I'm not worried. You have to be patient. You have to be tolerant. God will make your enemies your footstool.
So why do you love Juneteenth?
Do I love Juneteenth?
Yeah, so why is it that you love it then? I understand you tell me why it happened and that it's wrong that these white people did that to those slaves, but why do you love Juneteenth?
Because it's stamped in history that 100 years from now, they're going to look up the meaning of this federal holiday they have.
And learn what?
And learn exactly about what it means.
And why not leave it at that?
That's a good
because
thing.
if what you're telling me is true, if what you're telling me is true, there goes Frederick trying to jump to another topic because he believes. Here's the thing about Frederick, and here's the thing that you guys don't know about Frederick. Maybe you guys haven't realized yet. He likes to call my show, maybe the other shows as well, but he likes to call my show and try and have his own podcast. Okay, and
No,
then use my
don't.
viewers and then try and talk about his stuff and try and use. That's what he likes to do. Okay. And that's why he's on hold right now. He likes to go on. He's like, you know what? This is my show now. Here's my ideas and what I'm talking to. And he pretends to talk to his own audience for the little time I have him here. And he thinks he's cute. He thinks he's cute and he's being smart. Like I don't notice. And I personally don't like it. I personally don't like it at all.
Okay, when you
hear me, Fred? You hear what I'm saying, Frederick? You gotta talk to me when you call me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard what you're saying.
Anyways, I appreciate your call, Frederick. Take care. Moving the wheels. Call me again, man. Call me again some other time. I appreciate your call. I get it. He's saying, I get it. I'm done with it. I get it. It's cute. He's like, no, I love Juneteenth because you got to teach people the right history and all that. But we all know it's a justification of anger, okay? Because if it really was just let's teach people the right history, then it would just be that, okay? Yeah, these people is because what you're telling me is that Juneteenth amounts to a clerical mistake that some white people used it for evil. Okay, then those people were wrong for that. Okay, they were wrong. They should have let those black people go. No, you don't have to delete his comments. Don't delete those comments, mods. Okay, he could say I'm mad in the chat all he wants. I don't mind. Don't delete, please, mods. Don't delete chatters if they disagree, if they say I'm mad, or whatever. We like disagreeers. Duke it out in the chat. I like it. I just don't want people spamming, being particularly like just nasty. Like not even, if you're going to have an argument in the chat, have an argument. But if you're just going to spam and be this ridiculous person, please ban them. But don't delete him for saying that I'm mad. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. He can lie about me if he wants. I just want to move on because he's just going to do this little, it's just the right history. And we're just going to go back and forth and disagree. He said, she said. I don't mind him calling. Call me again, Frederick. Appreciate your call. But call me. Call me and start your own YouTube channel if you want to do that. All right, y'all. That's been the show. I appreciate you guys being with me. What else do I got here? There was this crazy dog attack. There was this dog attack. You heard about this? Central Park dog killer. Wild stuff. I'll leave it for another day, though. Let me see here. Let me see. What else do we got? That's it, y'all. That's been the show. What else? What am I going to do here? What am I going to do? Pull that show out of my... Anyways, that's been the American Anchor Baby Show. Appreciate you being with me. I love the calls, love the show, and I appreciate your support, truly. Join me tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby at 12, as well as Joel Friday. Don't miss that. It's Tuesday. We back for another Tuesday, and of course, Hake Report and JLP Show. Follow and subscribe here on YouTube, on Rumble, and my Twitter, Gorgonzola. It's been a slice, y'all. Appreciate it. Make sure you check out that Friday episode if you've never caught a flight here on Nick's stream. And that's all for today. Appreciate y'all. Take care, and see y'all tomorrow.
Isn't Nick a Mexican?
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner.